There's something most people completely miss about billionaire habits. They think it's random. We're constantly told that the path to success is paved with more action, more effort, more discipline. One habit here, another habit there. We collect these routines like badges of honor, each one promising a marginal gain, a slight edge. We believe that if we just stack enough of these small actions on top of each other, they will eventually compound into monumental results. Wake up early. The gurus say the most successful people own the morning, so we force ourselves out of bed before the sun rises, chasing those quiet, uninterrupted hours. We tell ourselves this is the price of admission to the High Achievers Club. Stay focused. We're taught to eliminate distractions, to single task, to enter a state of deep work. We download apps, set timers, and structure our days with military precision, all in the relentless pursuit of undivided attention. Work harder. This is the mantra of our time. Outwork the competition. Grind while they sleep. We wear burnout as a status symbol, believing that sheer force of will and hours logged are the ultimate currency of achievement. But that's not what's really happening. This frantic activity, this obsession with doing more is often a symptom of a deeper misunderstanding. It's motion, but not necessarily progress. It's the illusion of control, not the reality of it. Because when you look closely, when you peel back the layers of conventional wisdom and observe the truly effective, the masters of their domain, you start to see something else entirely. There's a pattern. It's not a secret formula or a magic trick. It's a fundamental operating system, a different way of processing the world. It's a framework that underlies their decisions, their actions, and their inactions. And once you see it, once you recognize this underlying structure, the surface-level habits start to look like mere tactics, not the core strategy. You begin to understand the why behind the what. You can't unsee it. The world reorganizes itself around this new understanding. The noise of popular advice fades away, replaced by the clarity of first principles. You see the difference between being busy and being effective. Billionaires don't just act differently. Their calm isn't apathy. Their silence isn't indecision. Their seemingly simple actions are the output of a much more sophisticated internal process. They think differently. They operate from a set of mental models that allow them to filter information, assess risk, and allocate resources in a way that is fundamentally distinct from the average person. And that thinking shows up in everything they do. From the way they structure their day, to the questions they ask in a meeting, to the opportunities they choose to ignore. It's a consistent application of their core principles. Let's break it down. We're going to deconstruct this mental operating system into its core components. These aren't just habits, they are pillars of a mindset that creates extraordinary leverage. First, the foundational principle, the one from which all others gain their power. They control. Not control over others, but control over self. Control over their inputs, their impulses, and their responses. It is the deliberate regulation of their own internal state. They don't rush to respond. They understand that urgency is often a trap, a manufactured pressure designed to provoke a hasty, suboptimal decision. They intentionally create a space between stimulus and response. They don't react emotionally. They recognize emotions as data, not directives. They can feel frustration, excitement, or fear, but they don't let those feelings dictate their actions. They subordinate their emotional state to their strategic goals. They pause. This is their most powerful tool. In that moment of stillness, they reclaim their agency. The pause is where raw data is transformed into considered strategy. It is an active, not a passive, state. They think. They use that created space to run simulations, to consider second and third order consequences, to consult their mental models, and to align the situation with their long-term objectives. Because control creates clarity. By refusing to be rushed or emotionally hijacked, they maintain a clear view of the landscape. They can distinguish the signal from the noise, the opportunity from the distraction, and clarity leads to better decisions, not just slightly better, but exponentially better. This is the foundation of leverage. A single, clear, well-timed decision born from control can be worth more than 1,000 hours of frantic, unfocused work. Second, they eliminate. They don't chase every opportunity. They don't try to finish everything. They cut things early. They say no, because every yes costs something: time, energy, focus. So they protect those things aggressively. Third, they protect their energy. This is the most overlooked, yet most critical asset for high performance. It's the invisible force that animates their strategy and fuels their execution. We often obsess over managing our calendars, but the truly leveraged manage their vitality. They understand that energy is the currency of creation and the engine of impact. It's the difference between simply being present and being potent. Not just their time. Time is a fixed container, a commodity everyone gets in equal measure. But energy is what determines the quality of what you pour into that container. It's a dynamic, renewable resource that you can cultivate or squander. Because time means nothing if you're tired. An hour of focused, high-energy work is worth more than a full day of exhausted, half-hearted effort. When your cognitive battery is low, your judgment is impaired, your creativity is stifled, and your decisions are suboptimal. You're just going through the motions. If you're distracted, every notification, every interruption, every context switch is a micro-tax on your mental energy. It fragments your attention and pulls you out of the deep work states where real breakthroughs happen. The leveraged understand that focus isn't just about what you look at, it's about what you're willing to ignore. If you're drained, emotionally, mentally, or physically. This is the state of deficit where you're most vulnerable to bad habits, poor choices, and reactive behavior. Being drained means you've exhausted your capacity for discipline and strategic thought. You're running on fumes, and fumes don't build empires, so they remove what drains them. They perform a ruthless audit of their lives, identifying the hidden leaks that siphon their vitality. This isn't about avoiding difficulty. It's about eliminating unnecessary friction. It's a strategic subtraction to enable exponential multiplication of their efforts. People, the complainers, the doubters, the energy vampires who thrive on drama and negativity. They curate their circle with the same care they curate their investments. Noise, the endless stream of low-value information, the 24-hour news cycle, the social media outrage machine. They replace passive consumption with active, purposeful learning. Distractions, the pointless meetings, the ambiguous tasks, the cluttered environments, they architect a life of intention, where every element serves a purpose or is removed. They stay sharp, because they know that in the game of leverage, the sharpest mind with the most energy to deploy it, wins. And finally, they control what they consume. They don't watch everything, they don't listen to everything, they filter information, because what you consume shapes how you think, and how you think shapes how you act. The relentless pace of modern life pulls you in, demanding your attention for 1,000 different things. Every notification, every email, every meeting feels urgent, but true progress isn't found in the frantic churn of the day-to-day. It's found when you deliberately create distance, when you elevate your perspective above the noise and the immediate demands. Now when you step back, you start to see the pattern. From this vantage point, the chaos resolves into clarity. You see the hidden architecture of your life and your work. The intricate web of cause and effect becomes visible. You identify the few critical inputs that generate the vast majority of your desired outputs. It's the Pareto principle in action, not just as a business school concept, but as a fundamental law governing your reality. The common misconception is that success is a function of volume. More hours, more projects, more commitments. This is the path of diminishing returns, a race to burnout that confuses motion with progress. It's not about doing more, it's about doing less, but better. It's about applying your full force to the few things that truly matter. It's the difference between being a scattered floodlight and a concentrated laser beam. This is the fundamental shift in mindset that separates the amateur from the master, the busy from the effective. This is where the journey truly begins, by embracing 4 pillars of high performance. Control. The first pillar is about reclaiming your sovereignty. It's the discipline to dictate your own schedule, to command your environment, and to master your emotional responses. You stop reacting and start acting. Elimination. The second is the art of strategic subtraction. You ruthlessly cut away the trivial, the distracting, and the non-essential. You say no to the good so you can say yes to the great. This creates the space required for deep work. Focus. The third pillar is the ability to concentrate your attention on a single point without distraction for a prolonged period. In a world fighting for every second of your attention, deep focus is a modern superpower. Energy. And the fourth is the strategic management of your physical, mental, and creative energy. You understand that you are not a machine. You operate in sprints, followed by deliberate recovery, ensuring you bring your best self to your most important tasks. That's the system. That's what creates leverage. It's the force multiplier that allows you to achieve exponential results with linear effort. It's how you move mountains, not by brute force, but by finding the right place to stand. And that's what most people never understand. They remain trapped in the cycle of doing more, chasing urgency, and wondering why they feel so busy, yet so unfulfilled. They see the results, but they never grasp the underlying system that produces them. They see the magic, but they miss the method. Smash that subscribe button, like, and comment for more billionaire secrets and lifestyle from Mind Ripple.